Yeah, obviously, excited to get another opportunity this year in an Elite Eight game to play a really high quality team and you have a chance to 40 minutes or however long it takes for a chance to get back to a Final Four.
Excellent, thank you. Open up the questions here up front.
Dave Borges, Hearst, Connecticut Media. Dan, does Illinois remind you of any teams you've played this year, or any Big East teams with their physicality or their offensive punch or anything like that? Can you draw any similarities between any teams you've played?
I think there's different elements with the way that the way that they space the court. With Marquette in terms of the offensive end. Although Marquette is unique, some defensive principles from Creighton. There's just like different elements. Obviously, we watched their game versus Marquette in the non-conference. The one that they played at Illinois. So there was some familiarity coming in.
Right in the middle.
John Fantz of Fox Sports. This is for any of the players. We've talked with Coach quite a bit, and Coach has talked with us quite a bit about his list of superstitions. What do you guys think of Coach's superstitions? And have you developed any? As a result of all the things he has?
Whatever works. So, it's working well for, his entire coaching career. So, why not continue it? So, I've definitely picked on the superstitious stuff, whether that's with socks or Cam and I waiting for each other to get in the hotel room. Like, I have to go first, and he's got to wait, and then he's got to go. So, it's just weird superstition. He knows what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about.
That's true.
He knows what I'm talking about.
Anything else? All right, go ahead. There in the middle.
Matt Norlander, CBS Sports. Just a quick one for Dan, then one for Tristen. Genuine question here, because you got the thing with the M&Ms. The M&M blue is a different shade than Illinois blue, so is that going to be a factor when you decide what we're doing before this game tomorrow?
I didn't even know. I thought I was safe because I didn't even realize they had the blue in there. I was so focused on the orange.
Okay, all right. So, okay, you hadn't thought about it. Not a full scout there. Tristen, this team this year versus the team from last year, what element is here that gives you confidence that maybe was missing or just maybe a dial down when we talk about being a team like Illinois getting to the Final Four? What's the biggest dynamic difference from this group versus last season?
I don't know if there's besides the players obviously, but last year we had the same formula: defense, rebounding, sharing the ball that got us to a national championship, and we carried that over to this year. And we've had a successful year, so I wouldn't say there are many differences besides the players. We got the same, we do the same routine, we do the same scout, and we prepare the same. So I wouldn't say there are too many big differences.
Thanks, Tristen. Here and back.
This is for Coach Sam Knox, WPRI in Providence. You talk about culture a lot. What's it like in real time to see that happen in such dominating fashion, especially in the tournament?
Yeah, just the culture piece. It's all about just getting the right people together, like-minded people, people that are willing to sacrifice, people that are willing to care, care about the group, sacrifice, parts of themselves for the overall success of the group. Because everyone's going to get what they deserve in the end. There's no more secrets. Players that are NBA level players, they're going to get drafted. You're going to play in the NBA. It's not like it was years ago where there's these guys that don't end up making it because they were some hidden secret. Everyone's going to end up playing at the level that their talent dictates. So while you're wearing a college uniform, play for the win. And we got guys that play to win.
Thanks, Coach. Jimmy.
Jimmy Golan, Associated Press. Donovan, Coach talked the other day about you coming in after last year and saying you weren't ready, you wanted to come back. What went into that decision? What did you think wasn't ready, and was having the chance to win 2 in a row any part of that decision?
Yeah, I love UConn. I love being here. I love the guys in the locker room. I love the coaching staff. I really feel like I wanted to come back and, just prove what I could do. And, the college game's as fun as it gets. And, winning a national championship, definitely wanted to try to compete for another one. And, just 'cause I realized, how fun it is and, how great winning is. So, I just wanted to come back and, try to battle and just do it with a new team.
Was it more about the experience, or was there a part of your game that you still wanted to work on?
Everything. Obviously, there's always room for improvement. Obviously, I wanted to get better. I always want to. I just want to do a new team, and like I said, I love UConn. I love being here, and I just want to just keep winning.
Good, Jeff.
All right, guys, let's play a little game here. Let's describe your coach in one word, each one of you. All right, I'll start if you want. You want me to start, Donovan?
Sure.
Yeah.
Lunatic,
I like that one.
Who said that?
right?
You said
I
that?
said it. No, I said
Then
it.
let them say it. Why do you?
I'm
Why-
starting.
You're
They
prompting
can't
them.
use that word, though. You got to try.
You're taking them in
Who
a
has to come
direction.
out with a
though.
different word?
You're like leading them.
No, not at all. I would never lead.
Who starts?
All that stuff.
Let's start down with you, Stephon. We'll go down the road.
Loud.
Competitive.
Passionate.
Dang, you took my word. Relentless.
A winner.
Let's go, boys. You got my back. You got my back. That's right. Culture.
Right here, and then I'll go ahead. Let's forget it.
Hey guys, Trevor House with the Boston Globe. Question for Tristen and Alex. Just curious about Cam's versatility. Obviously, he's a shooter. Everyone knows that. But his passing, his playmaking. Can you just speak to the way he affects the game in so many ways?
Yeah, I mean, he could beat anybody in so many different ways, whether that's his shot or just playmaking for others. And he really just helps us create a new look offensively. And just teams worry about him so much, and he's extremely unselfish. So he's either going to make the shot or make the unselfish play. And he's just super easy and super fun with to play on offense.
Yeah, I mean, Cam's a great teammate. He's gonna do whatever it takes to win. He dives on the floor, he gets steals, he moves the ball. He shoots well, and with his shooting skill, he can get to the basket and make plays. So he's an all-around great player, and he's been good for our team this year.
Thanks. Right here in front.
Zach Brazilian, you're opposed. Dan, did you have superstitions when you were a player, and what were they?
Wow, that's a long time ago. No. I just think you have more time as a coach. You're in the locker room by yourself, especially as a head coach. You're in the locker room by yourself for a while, just by yourself, and you have a lot of time by yourself. So it leads to these things piling up.
What about at St. Benedict's?
Yeah, I mean, that started there. I think the M&Ms probably started there.
Anything else?
There? Just prayer, I pray too right before. We talk to these guys. They go out at the 8-minute mark. I go and say a quick prayer. So my faith's always been real important to me.
Here in back, Terry.
Tara Sullivan from the Boston Globe. Cam, you've probably been asked this before, but the comparison of kind of Big East basketball, what you went through this season versus Big Ten basketball, you're going to play them. So, yeah, are they similar? Did one harder, more physical, any comparison you might make?
Yeah, I would say the physicality is pretty similar. Big, strong, athletic people in both leagues. I think the Big East probably a little bit faster. The Big Ten probably a little more of a half-court offense kind of a league. But like I said, both very physical leagues.
Here in front.
Donald Morey, Hartford Current. Alex and Dan also, if you could weigh in on this, but it's been said in the past, Gino among others, that this regional final, the 8, is the hardest obstacle along the way to the final, to the championship. This is the toughest game. I was wondering, Alex, you went through this last year with Gonzaga. What were the feelings like going into that game? And then Dan, if you could maybe speak to that as well.
Yeah, we were super energetic, just knowing how hard it is to make it to the Elite Eight, and just the energy that surrounds the Elite Eight. So we were super excited. Making it back to the Elite Eight, it's special. And, it's hard to do 2 times in a row, but I think every game is hard in March Madness. The first round, second round, all of them are hard, and they all equal the same value. You win, you move on. So really, you're just super energized and excited about all of them, and you're just blessed to be in the opportunities in these type of games.
Yeah, I mean, first round games are rough. Yeah, I remember last year, pretty nerve-wracking going into this one with everything that's on the table. and then going into the national championship game, not wanting to lose, losing the national championship game. But this year, for us, I think feels different. You know, we broke through last year. We've established a level. Maybe we feel a little bit less pressure as an organization because we feel like we've established a level now that of where our program's at. That you know, we're going to be in this spot moving forward. Obviously this year and moving forward. So I don't think we feel the same anxiety. We have tremendous respect for our opponent, know how hard tomorrow's going to be, but you know, we've established a level that we expect to be back to.
Back right.
Dan, Mike Anthony from Hearst. What do you recall about the conversations with Donovan coming off of last year and his need to come back this year? And what do you think of his body of work this year and his development despite some injuries?
Yeah, I think with Donovan, you know, listen, obviously NIL and you know, has changed things for, you know, for college athletes. There's no rush to get to, you know, professional sports, the NBA, the NFL, with what you can earn as a college athlete. If you're physically and mentally and emotionally not ready to go into a man's world, and like your game is not there, you're emotionally, you know, in terms of your maturation, not ready to be in that world, like with grown-ass men, like, you know, fighting for your life on a daily basis in that league, then, you know, you should return to college until you're prepared to, like, be a rotation player in the NBA where you can have a long and successful career. The objective is not getting drafted to the NBA. The objective is to have a 12 to 15-year career in the NBA, and Donovan wasn't ready for that last year, and he's a very self-aware kid. You could see his impact once he's healthy. He wasn't healthy to start the year. Now he's healthy. He's in great form, and there's few players in the country that impact the game like him.
Over to the right.
I'll follow up with Donovan. Donovan, either in the context of this tournament run or the entire season, have you and your teammates taken this season as a title defense, like what you won last year? You are trying to retain what is yours, or has it been, you know, draw a line, blank slate? This is all about moving forward, and we're not necessarily using, you know, what we already have as extra motivation.
Yeah, definitely. Excuse me. You know, after the summer, you know, when we got all the new guys from, you know, the freshmen and, you know, Cam, you know, really just, you know, leaving that in last season and focusing on, you know, doing it with a new team. And it's nothing about like defending. It's really just trying to, you know, go out and, you know, win another one and, you know, doing whatever we can to do that. And, you know, it's a special group of guys that, you know, it's coached at the highest level, and, you know, we're just ready for, you know, what's ahead of us.
Go ahead, Johnny.
I'm going to give Coach a chance to answer this, and then the four other players next to Stephon Castle, I'll give you guys a chance to think. When did you know that this freshman would be the perfect fit for your program, and what was your first encounter or two like with this kid? Coach?
I think, you know, just during the unofficial visits, official visits, you know, you spend time around him, you get to know Quan and Stacy and all the people that Steph has around him. The physical attributes, the traits, the competitiveness, you know, the love of the game, all that stuff is there. But, you know, for me, it's when you spend time with him on the visit and you know that the family, he's got the right inner circle around him.
Yeah, I mean, you know, really his official visits, just, you know, the dinners the official visit dinners, just hang around with him on campus. You know, his family's great. You know, he's a good kid, and, you know, he's, you know, the best defender that you see on, you know, we put him on the best players every game, and, you know, he's a special player, a special kid.
Anyone else?
Tristen. Yeah. I mean, Coach, they do a great job of recruiting the right players. So, you know, obviously if Coach wants somebody to be on our team and he says they're going to help us, they're pretty much going to help us. My first interaction with Steph was, I think on Instagram, honestly. We were talking about the jersey number, talking about getting number 2. He couldn't have it. But besides that, yeah, he's a great teammate, great guy on and off the court, and I'm glad he's our teammate this year.
Thanks, guys. You're in the front left.
Joe Arruda, Hartford Current. Dan, could you speak to the different personalities that you have in the backcourt? Obviously, Tristen and Cam, and Steph and Haas, and how have they been able to mesh?
Well, it just, I think, I think getting, players with a lot of life to them and trying to avoid zombies and deadheads on your roster. Just, outgoing, different types of personality. I think it helps you in these bigger moments. I think that's something that we spent a lot of time thinking about with, a couple of those years where we didn't play our best in March was, get guys that are alive that aren't going to shrink, when the lights get bright in March. And it's a very diverse locker room, and I know they have a lot of fun in there, and it's a lively place.
Got about 3 minutes left. There's student athletes here. Go ahead in the middle.
Rob Doster, Field of 68s for Tristen and Alex. Coach has said multiple times that Donovan's as impactful of a player as there is in college basketball. I'm just curious, in your eyes, what is that impact?
I think it starts on the defensive end with him. I mean, when he was out for those 5 games in the middle of the season, we really weren't as good defensively. We didn't have the rim protection. We didn't have that presence inside that intimidated other teams of attacking the paint. So really, I think it started with the defensive end with him, and then offensively, lob threat, post-ups. He really opens up everything else for the guards and the shooters. So, it was really both ends, but I think more importantly, it was on the defensive end we needed him.
Yeah, he pretty much covered it all. It starts with defense. He affects all shots around the rim. He gets good rebounds. I think the most underrated part of his game is for me personally, helps me out. He's a good screen setter. I'm open off all his screens, and if it's on the ball or off the ball, he sets great screens, and just throw it up to the rim, he's gonna go get it. So, yeah, he's the most impactful player in the country. We would say so.
John, did you have a follow-up? You're good. Okay. Do we have any other questions for a 5 up here before we let them head back? No, you guys are all set. Coach, you can stick around for a few more questions. It'd be great. Thank you. Right here to the right.
See a few.
I got you. No, you're good.
Steph.
Go ahead, Jimmy.
Dan, as you may be aware, it's been a long time since anyone's repeated. And I was just wondering, with all the stuff that's going on in the sport these days, do you think it's getting harder to do that with the transfer portal and all that stuff? Or do you think it's maybe going to get easier because you can just bring someone in?
Oh, it's harder. It's way harder. Forget the fact, coaching's harder. The game is way more sophisticated, right? Just the players are more skilled, they're more versatile. So many, different types of teams with different, tactics offensively, defensively. Obviously, you're managing your roster with the portal, with NIL. For us, we've you better be a more skilled coach these days because you're dealing with a lot more stuff. And then just for us, I think, we've made it look easy in these past 2 tournaments, but it's hard. We do the hard things really, really well, like the defense, the rebounding, the way that we play at the offensive end of the court. So yeah, it's tough. It's not easier. It's going to get tougher, unless somebody isn't so we get like a commissioner or something that gets this thing a little bit more organized and under control. We could really use a commissioner. Got such an incredible sport. We got the greatest sport event that this country has on a yearly basis that captures the imagination of the whole country. Casuals, non-sport fans, everyone's got a bracket. You got this incredible product that's marketed horribly outside of March. It's an incredible sport, and yeah, you better be a better coach, and we need a commissioner.
Good.
Dan, Matt Norlander, CBS Sports. You've been frequent in your outspokenness about your opposition to the transfer portal being open during the tournament. I think a lot of people in your profession would share that opinion. I'm curious, in your position, UConn, if you have found yourself in the past couple of weeks in the rare spot where instead of having a staff that has to work the portal, work the back channels, if anything, you've had people approach either you, your staff, and say, hey, how can we get our guys involved in what you're doing? If you've had to deal with that, if you've almost had to push the brakes on everyone as you try and do this and kind of keep all your focus on your team.
Yeah, we're we have Tom Moore in a pseudo GM role. Obviously trying to project out what the roster is going to look like. Obviously, we have players that we know that won't return. Then you have some younger players that are going to have heavy interest. In terms of Steph and Donovan and AK. So, those things we're kind of having casual conversations about that, but we really are just trying to focus on next practice. Studying the heck out of this Illinois team, staying in the moment, staying present. With that, it hasn't hurt us in the past. That's the way we've always handled things. We're not good at tampering or cheating. We've never tried that, and we've still been very successful. So, we want to play out the season, and then obviously, we'll deal with our roster situations. But we just, as a program, we want to have a high-level culture and the respect of our peers, to not be one of those programs that's trying to steal players off other teams in season.
Just a quick follow-up with that, because last year, you spoke on how you had to take a few of these Zoom interviews with these transfers. Like, have you put your foot down, line in the sand, the whole thing on if you're fortunate enough to go to Arizona, we're not doing that again, or is it a state of the business where it's almost out of your control?
For me, to make...
For you specifically in this team, that must not have been what you wanted to do a year ago when you're trying to win a title and you're hopping, you got assistants hopping on a Zoom. I'm wondering if you're intent on not having to repeat that, or if it's just an unavoidable reality here.
So what we've tried to do is, as players have gone in, that there may be an interest in, based on how some personnel things go for us, either portal or early entry draft. We've had Tom, who's acting as a pseudo, GM for us, maybe making an initial call of interest. But yeah, I'm not actively. I think I've called a high school player that's available, and had a phone conversation. But I just think it's our practice, for me and Kamani and Luke, to lock in on team and to take this season as far as we can go. And if we lose players because we're moving slower, again, it hasn't hurt us the past 2 years.
Back left, coach.
Dan, you talked about a lot of what college basketball as a whole is facing. The issue of gambling being so out there for those of us of a certain age, that's strange enough to kind of live in a space where gambling is so present in there. I'm curious how you feel about that, and if gambling to you is a threat because the kids are, could be targeted by people, or if it's because they're vulnerable, and then you're looking at, bad stuff, point shaving, things like that. What do you see as the threats?
I think you worry about the people getting close to the players. Anyone involved in your program, whether student managers or what have you, I just think the antennas are up. Now with players, with this NIL opportunity, it's not like they need to bet, on games in college with that insider information because they need the cash. These kids now are in a position, to begin investing money, taking care of family, having family travel. NIL's been great. But yeah, you worry about the people around the players and just how easily accessible it is. I mean, we play and practice at the XL Center, not very far from a window where we could see, the gambling going on. So,
thanks, coach. Here, front left.
Gavin Keefe in London Day. Dan, how do you go about building a strong connection with your players, and how important is that to your team's success?
Time. You invest every second that you can in them, that the NCAA allows, both on the court, and off the court. It truly, you just pour everything you have into them. Your family is intertwined with your program, and I think players sense that. They feel that. My players will accept the hard coaching from me. Because and our staff, because they know how much we love them. They know how much we're trying to prepare them, toughen them up, teach them, help them grow as men, develop new skills quickly. All those things that are going to add value to their lives, and we're relentless for them. We're literally giving everything we got to them while they're on campus. Now, I wouldn't want to play for me for 10 years, 12 years. I mean, I wouldn't want to play for this staff for 8, 10, 12, 15 years. We go hard for these guys while they're on campus, and that's why I think you see the bond the way it is. It's in some cases it's 8 months, it's 10 months, it's 2 or 3 years. You got to do that at a sprinter's pace, because it's such a short window where you're trying to prepare these guys for the rest of their lives, success, the stuff that they need to learn as men.
Let's go front center here.
Dan, what's the single most important, or maybe the 2 or 3 most important pieces of advice that either Jim Calhoun or one of the other veteran coaches that you talk to about handling the later stages of March?
Yeah, I mean, for me, certainly shortening up practices. I think that trusting your team. I think from Coach Calhoun and Gino have really tried to hammer that home. With me as the season's gone on, shortening those practices, and then I think the leadership, the public persona. I think Gino and Coach Calhoun have a heavy influence on how I try to carry myself this time of year as a UConn coach. The confidence that you've got to display both in-house and in front of you guys because of what UConn represents in March and April.
Right here, Coach.
Jimmy Golan from the Associated Press. To follow up on what you mentioned about Donovan the other day, what is it about his game that you saw could improve if he stuck around, and what kind of growth have you seen from him? And then kind of how remarkable is it for you that a guy can look at the NBA and say, "Nah, I'm good, I'll wait"?
Yeah, I mean, you obviously all the defensive things, and now that he's healthy, all the movement and the ball screen defense plus the rim protection. He's got a unique skill set for somebody that's 7'2", 7'3". You could see somebody that's very comfortable, like passing and handling the ball away from the basket, which is so critical in the NBA game today with the 5-out. I think if you watch him, in pregame warmups, you could see that the shooting eventually as he gets into an NBA organization, you'll see the shooting with him. You'll see a guy that eventually will be able to step away and make shots. People see Jokic and what he looks like when he's 25, 26 years old. When he was 20, he wasn't making, 24-foot threes and doing all the things that you're seeing him do the last couple of years. So, Donovan has an ability to develop new skills rapidly, and you'll see that when he gets to the NBA.
Was it remarkable to you that he was able to kind of, put off instant gratification?
Yeah, but he comes. A great family raised him, and in Bristol's kept him humble and grounded, and he's Connecticut kid. He loves Connecticut. He loves college. Once these guys leave college, they're not going to be on teams like this again that feel the way we feel about each other ever again. You're going to go into an NBA organization, and it's going to be business. It's going to be man. You know what? It's not going to be like this in terms of the way the group feels about each other, the brotherhood, the camaraderie. And I think, he wanted another year of that.
Good, man.
Well, one more for you, Dan. It has not been a recurring trope for this team to win close games. You had a half there. But I am curious how you are trying to guard against or prepare your team for if it's caught in a one-possession game with 2 minutes to go tomorrow night, or if you does you and your staff have any control over your team's composure when it comes to that? How much does that weigh on you if you wind up getting, if you're not blowing them out with at the under 4,
Yeah. Well, we've played under pressure on a daily basis because, our practice is very intense. So I do think that helps us to a degree. But, at MSG, that St. John's game, that was not, that game was tight, and we made plays later in the second half in an electric building to get it to double figures. The Marquette game in the Big East Finals was not a runaway for us. It was a tight game that we got separation in the second half. We've played close games during the year. I just think the expectation in the game versus Illinois. Illinois is one of the best teams in the country. One of the best teams in the country. We expect a 40-minute war going into every game that we go into. I know you'll see, the end of that clip when I came into the locker room and said we just keep blowing these teams out. Well, they missed the first part of that, which was, man, I don't know how we're blowing these teams out in this setting. You guys are special. So we go into every game. San Diego State, we didn't think we'd be plus 27 on the backboard versus that rebounding team. We didn't think that we would beat a team like that. That beat the team that beat the Auburn team that everyone felt like could make a deep, deep run in this tournament by 30. So you go into it thinking it's going to be a full 40-minute war. And we've systematically been able to break teams down.
It's about 5 more minutes. Go ahead to the right.
Wayne Norman, UConn Sports Network. Dan, you just talked rebounding. These are 2 of the top 10 rebound margin teams in the country. How do you see the rebounding battle playing out tomorrow, and where do you maybe have an edge?
Yeah, it's going to be a bloody battle. It's a rebounding war tomorrow, and it's going to be a bloody one. The Big East and the Big Ten, 2 of the toughest leagues. You get real men playing in these 2 conferences. So when the ball goes up, whoever's fastest to it, whoever makes that first violent contact and then continues to improve their position, they're an excellent rebounding team. We're an excellent rebounding team. We both go to the offensive glass. I think tomorrow's going to be I think it's going to be a fun game. I think the 2 top offenses in the country, NBA players up and down, both rosters. I know they're hungry to break through and get to a Final Four. We're hungry to get back to a Final Four. So, we're 2 of the truly best teams in the country.
Anything else out there for Coach? All right. Thanks so
Thank
much.
you.
Good luck tomorrow. Yep.